Today we talk about Australian study visa. In Australian study visa, there are basically 4 requirements which any High Commission is looking after, and specifically today we are talking about Australian High Commission. So Australian High Commission, the first requirement what the student need to fulfill is the language. In language, there are 4 testings which a student can give and assess himself. One is called IELTS, which is quite a famous examination. Second one is TOEFL. Third one is PT, and the fourth one is CAG. In IELTS, the student has been assessed in the 4 skills like listening, reading, writing, and speaking. For undergraduate students, the student need to score minimum 6 bands and no band less than 5.5. That is not it's not a compulsory to have a minimum 5.5, but if student is able to score it, it will be really appreciable for the student to do well. The second, for post-graduation students, the student need to score overall 6.5 and not less than around 6 band in any, because that is how the assessment has been done by the Australian High Commission. They recommend that. The second requirement is the education. In education, there are 4 parameters which every student must fulfill. Number 1 is the percentage. What kind of a percentage are you holding it? The higher the percentage, the better the chances to get a visa. The second requirement is the board. You should pass out your senior secondary or your graduation from approved boards, which is the list is being given in the Australian High Commission website. The third requirement is your what kind of stream you have been passed out. The fourth requirement is do you have any gap years or not, and if that is there, what you were doing in all those years. So you need to fulfill those gap years very nicely. The third requirement, we have talked about already about your language, we have already talked about your education. Now the third requirement is your admission. In admission, we need to understand, we have to shortlist the city. In Australia, obviously Australia is quite a huge country, bigger than India what we have. So in Australia, we have the cities like Perth, Hobart, Darwin, Melbourne, Sydney, and many more. So we have to shortlist what city we need to go. And the second requirement is the course. What kind of course we need to have it? Again, out here, let's say if you have been doing accounts, so you can't go and do anything else. Let's say you can't go and do engineering. You must have to have a relevancy of your previous studies. So you have to understand, you have to find the relevancy course. The second requirement, what I would suggest to you is the specialization. You must do some specialization courses, which has not been very easily been available in India. The courses you have to shortlist, and a career. You have to justify the High Commission. Why are you doing this course? Do this course really meant something for you, or you're just doing just to be entering into Australia? So you have to find out what kind of course you are choosing to do that. The last not the least, after choosing all this course in a city, you can shortlist universities. In Sofia, we help you and assist you to get all, we almost got assistance, and it will get you the admission in all 42 universities which has been available in Australia, or all the government colleges. These days, the government colleges and universities are being in much demand in Australia. So the fourth requirement, which comes down to your funds. In funds, I would say it's been divided into 3 sections. Number 1 is your it's show money, which the Australian High Commission wanted to see whether do you have an excess money so that you should not tomorrow dependent on them. It means that you need to have a living expenses, flight charges, and your tuition fee. So they wanted to see minimum for an year. In Australia, these funds are being divided into different categories like subclasses 571, 572, 573. Today in India, the student streamline is being quite popular. Here, you need to have a funds which need to show minimum for 3 months old. So there are few of the people who says it is in a 1 month old. Yet definitely, if we talk about the Australian High Commission, they don't require this, but to assess you properly, they need to see whether do you have the funds to access yourself to support your studies. So if you calculate your living expenses, calculate your flight charges, calculate your tuition fee. Living expenses are normally, it has been called $18,610. Flight charges almost $2,000, and tuition fee depends upon course to course. Let's say if you're going from undergraduate, it starts from $10,000 till $15,000 to $16,000 in a year, And if you're going for post-graduation, it starts from $16,000 and goes to $30,000. So if you calculate and multiply with 52, you'll get an approximately cost to show, like, let's say for undergraduation, you need to show around 22 to 24 lakhs. For post-graduation, you need to show 24 to 30 lakhs. The annual income is quite an important factor for any student to show, because the Australian High Commission is very, very keen to see if the student really has an ability to support himself in futurely. So obviously, let's say for example, if your parent is, I'll take a 3 basic examples. If your parent is farmer, so what kind of farming he's been doing? Do he or she, let's say a mother or father who's been doing this farming, do they have a J form, Jamabandi paper? Do they have the letter of Tahsildar? Or if they are being service, they are in service class, the second option, do they have, what kind of service they are doing it? Do they have ITRs fulfilled? Do they have the salary slip? And if they're doing business, then their ITR is very, very important for last 3 years. Plus, you should show some business proofs also. So in Australia also, the approximately expenses, which a lot of students wanted to know, what are my approximately expenses if I'll travel down to Australia? So the approximate expenses which I would recommend you that you're going to spend is, for undergraduate, it will be around anything between 6 to 8 lakhs. For post-graduation, it will be around anything between 7 to 10 lakhs. A lot of students ask me, do we have an option to get a residency? Do we get anything? Or what are the work hours? Work hours are very, very good in Australia. Let's say, for example, Australian government has really modified today for benefit of students. Students can go and work for 40 hours for 2 weeks. They have, give you a flexible choice. Let's say you get a work this week and you can do continuously 40 hours rather than being, taking a break, or you are not, breaking a law. That's a very, very good positive move by the Australian High Commission and the Australian government. The second is do we get a residency? Yes, there are options of residency also, but you need to score 65 points for that, to fulfill that. So then you can always come down to us for small to small basic requirements, where we can come across and sit with you and talk about your residency, about or your financials, where Sofia will help you out to sort out all those issues, to find out good college, university, course, and your other issues. I hope my given information will be helpful to you, and you can rely on that. And thank you so much for supporting us.